Hi, Mariel. Thank you for chatting with me today about your experience in the Gab Accelerator. We're going to jump right in. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Tell me, what were you going through in your business before we worked together that made you want to work with me?
Yeah. What was going on for me is I had been doing some other business coaching programs that I had not had the results that I expected, and some of them were quite high ticket price programs. But um, the reality is that the strategy that I was following there was not working for me. And so what I was looking for is how to make clients. That is where I'm at my with my business now. How can I make clients? And and then I decided to have a call with you. I got to know you through a common contact, and I checked your website, I did your quiz, I liked everything that I saw. And there were a couple of points where you suggested book a call with me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to book a call with you. And so we spoke, and there was something that I really liked about what you said in that call. First, one thing that impressed me a bit is that you had looked at my uh, Instagram profile and checked my content. And I was not expecting that at all. And I really like that. And then you gave me some feedback, which totally made sense for me, because I have been working with copywriting coaches, with Instagram marketing coaches, and I think that even though they are good, it doesn't match my style, because you can have one style when you are a business coach, an Instagram coach, a copywriter. But when you are in the space where I am in the empowerment space, but I'm also in the healing space. And I work with women with a specific experience of father absence. So it's kind of, I've realized you have to go very gently. So these like uh, um, copywriting advices of, uh, going hard on pain points, using a lot pain points, and going kind of hard on these things, it doesn't work for me. And in that call with you, you you said, you gave me some feedback, and it totally clicked.
I know, I was like, this is not going to work for you.
Thank you for letting me know it was not going to work for me.
I know. I can be a little blunt sometimes, but I like to save people time. My job is to save you time. So, yeah. Um, Thank you for saying that. I'm glad you remember that, because sometimes when I talk to people and I ask them questions, I'm like, I wonder if they remember what, there we go. I wonder if they remember what our initial interactions were like, 'cause sometimes people forget because we've been through so much together in a journey. So thank you for that I remember that really well. And I have to just take this moment and say, I appreciate you saying this so much, because it's very affirming for me. Because when I even created the group program, my resistance really to creating a group program was, no, I believe in custom strategies for people. I believe that each business is different, and the formula that most people are getting taught isn't going to work for them and isn't going to work for every type of business. And a friend of mine was like, well, you're really great and you're really smart. Build a group program that addresses the custom strategy that people need. So that was the challenge that I set out to solve when I created a group program, because I can, with my private clients who choose to work with me privately, that's easy. I've grown hundreds of businesses. I've coached hundreds of people at this point. Taking somebody and creating their strategy and engineering that one-on-one is easy, but doing it in a group setting and making sure that everybody actually gets what they need and the attention they need and the custom strategy that's right for them, I had to devise a different type of program. And it's not like other programs because I needed to make sure I wanted to sleep well at peace at night, knowing I did what I set out to do. So thank you, because I think you're absolutely right. Those formulas were not going to work for you. And it's not that those coaches are bad or wrong. It's just that the formula doesn't work for everyone. And you need to work with people that are willing to be honest with you, are willing to be straight with you, and are willing and know how to build a strategy that is for you. So I will say you were such a good sport because I really called you out on a lot of the stuff you were doing. And you were such a good sport about it because you were like, what do you mean? I'm doing all the stuff I was told to do. And I was like, I know, but it's not right for you. And you were a really good sport about it. So I commend you on that, because taking that kind of feedback when we've paid a lot of money to other coaches and we've done the thing, we've executed on the things they told us to do. I've had coach clients in the past who have said, hey, this isn't right for you. This isn't going to work for you. And they've resisted my feedback, understandably so, because they're like, no, I paid $10,000 for someone to tell me to build a course. So now I got to make this course work. And I've had that happen to me with clients where I had to say, a course isn't the right product vehicle for what you do in the world and for what you say you want and for your vision, right? And there was more resistance where you were willing to go, okay, I'm listening. And you were really open to listening in a very short period of time. So I commend you, because I know that takes guts. So yeah,
Thank you.
but yeah, but thank you for acknowledging that. I think it's a really important distinction about this program. Speaking of, in the program, what was your experience like? Because you kind of came in on full trust of having these not great experiences, or having experiences but not really getting the results you wanted. So what was it like then being in the program? Because I'm sure there's a lot of doubt and trepidation when you haven't already gotten results from other programs. What was unique for you? And what were your biggest takeaways in the program? What did you learn?
Yeah. So in the point that I was with my business, one of the things that I was struggling with was my message. And I kind of had struggled with my message for over 1 year. But by the time I joined Gab Accelerator, I was sure that I was going to go with that message. But during the time I was there and the feedback that I was receiving from you, things started to shift for me. And so I opened up to reviewing and changing my message again, because yes, I mean, I was going all in with it, but I was struggling with it. So I was not all in with it in reality. But maybe I was performing, maybe I was forcing myself. And this is one unexpected thing that I got from Gab Accelerator. It is new energy for a change in my message. And I'm kind of quite clear now about where I want it, where I want to go with it. But I mean, this getting new energy and getting excited again about it and seeing other paths, and it's very, very valuable. It's very valuable. I mean, getting your message right, this is not a thing of, okay, I'm going to sit down today and I'm going to get my message right.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So you have been very, very valuable in that, very helpful.
Yeah. I think that, well, it's what we talk. I think that maybe we talk about why product market fit is so important. And there is like these 5 key elements to product market fit, and messaging is one of those 5. So if you don't have the full product market fit combination. It just is harder to sell a product when you don't have product market fit. And I think that the reason you were willing to revisit it is because you realize that you're like, oh, okay, I understand why this is important and how it fits into the whole formula of making money in my business. And I need to look at this. But I do think also what's really cool about this program in the community, I hope it's because the way that I teach, that's very, very open and very calls for collaboration. Everyone really stepped up and helped you with your messaging. We did this extra session for Mariel because she was struggling. And I was like, all right, the troops are coming in. Everyone band together. And we were all on this call and we all banded together and helped you with your messaging. And it was such a fun session. And I think also like what came out of it was really, really great. So it's funny, like I'm not a messaging coach at all, but I often end up helping. I understand product market fit. And so I often end up in a position of helping people with that. But I think we did a really good job. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
You
And
remember? Are you ready to say what your new messaging statement is? Because it's so good. Can you say it? Let's see.
oh my God, I have such a terrible memory, but okay. I
I
have,
have it up on my screen, so I can
you have,
pull it up if you want.
I help women stop attracting assholes,
Assholes.
assholes in your work, personal, romantic life, or that little girl inside you. And I do that by addressing deep-rooted father wounds. So that was the message that came out from that session.
The troops rallied together. We did a special extra session, and I love that. You can say, I help women stop attracting a-holes as well if you don't want to say assholes. That was the joke. And everybody was saying assholes for a whole half an hour. It was very funny.
Absolutely. And people were so supportive, and I really appreciated that. And it gave me this burst of energy, like I'm not alone in this. And this is one of the things that I've experienced in Gab Accelerator. I am not alone, because the support that you provide, I haven't seen it in any other program. And I've been in very high ticket programs and I haven't seen it. Your support is not 2 QA calls, group calls per month, and then you're on the spot for some time, and that's what you get. And that was everything that I knew, and I was fine with that. But Gab Accelerator is totally different. Your level of commitment and involvement, your focus, I mean, you really have your brain on our businesses, and we can feel that. And I mean, the level of support is just amazing. It's worth only that is worth the price.
Yeah. Yeah. I think because the way I think about it is because I was a COO before this business and before becoming a coach and consultant, I was a COO for startups. And so the way I think about business when I'm in front of someone's business who's struggling, the way my brain thinks is if I were hired to be the COO for this business, what would I do? Because when I was a COO, I would have to report to the board or report to the CEO, and they would look at me and go, what are you going to do? And that was the scariest thing about being a COO and the most exhilarating thing about being a COO, because it forced me to level up my skill set and my knowledge and my willingness to get uncomfortable and do and learn things that I didn't know or understand. So by nature, I don't think about it. It's not like something, now it's my nature of, okay, what would I do? If Mariel hired me to run the show and make her money, what would I do? So I do kind of invest in everyone in that way. And I also know that, like, sorry, friends and colleagues, you're not gonna create a growth strategy with 2 calls a month where you maybe get a little bit of airtime with the coach. That's hard. That's hard. So that's why I'm very in your face. It's it's a 5-week experience, which seems short, but I'm actually so in your face, and you have so much access to me, and we meet so much in that time that I don't think anybody walks away feeling like I didn't get enough. I think everyone's like, I'm seeing you again this week. We have 4
Every
sessions
day.
this week. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, yep, we're talking again. See you tomorrow. Yeah, and it's crazy. I know that it's crazy, but I also know if I could get you guys the results in such a short amount of time with less work on me, I would do it. But I know that you need that kind of attention and intensity, so that's why we do it that way. So yeah, thanks for saying that. What do you think? I mean, you are still in the program right now. We're finishing up, so you're not even out in the world, but I know that you've already had a whole new take on follow-ups and calls and sales calls and even market research calls and who you're going to be talking to and how. So I know you've made a lot of strides already in a short amount of time, but what do you think is your biggest result from the program?
My biggest result is having a direction. I now have a direction. I didn't have it before after having ended 1 year of a coaching business program and not knowing what to do next because what I had done there hadn't worked for me. So what do I do now?
Yeah.
So
So
I
5 weeks,
oh, go ahead.
guys, 5 weeks compared to 1 year. Let's just 5 weeks, 1 year. It was like the best case study call ever. Five, it's up to you. You can do year-long programs or you can do it in 5 weeks. I don't know. Up to you. So yeah. Um, awesome. Yeah, I know exactly what you're doing next. I know what you're focused on. I know exactly your next steps. And I'm glad to hear you say that you know what you're doing next, because that's very exciting.
Yes. What I'm doing next is have conversations. That is my main goal. Have conversations. Reach out to people, which I had already done in the past, but in a way that was not working for me. And
Yeah.
I was actually struggling with that way of doing because it kind of didn't make so much sense to me. But I've I've come to realize that what I thought was common sense for me is what I'm going to do now, you know? Because as I say, I'm in a very tender space helping people. I can't reach people out and say, hey, do you know someone? Do you know someone who would need help? Do you know someone with an experience of father absence? Can you introduce me to this person? That is not going to work with me for me because imagine yourself referring me to a friend of yours. You kind of implicitly send this person a message. You need help, right? Or there is something wrong with you because uh, I think the message can come through quite negative to that person,
Exactly.
and so I have to do it in a very different way. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have to have more open conversations, reaching out to coaches, asking
Yeah.
if they know someone they can connect me with, or to
Or
find
teaching in their programs or strategic partnerships. You have a lot of things you can do now.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And
And I love that the messaging position, your first statement isn't about people suffering from having had an absentee father, because the first statement is, I help women stop attracting assholes. And that's an easier entry. Like I have a few friends off the top of my head that I'm like, oh yeah, I could actually refer them to your work because they know that they keep attracting a-holes into their life. And then when I think about it even a few layers deep, I'm like, oh yeah, there might be an absentee father theme there. But if you start with that first sentence, anyway, we're getting into messaging the way I think about messaging, but it's a harder entry point. So I think we've made a more fun, light, relatable entry point, but you're still being true to your passion and what you specialize in and what you want to do. And yeah,
Yeah.
now you have a lot of now you have a lot that I'm going to be following up with you and making sure you're getting into those conversations and connecting with the right people. So
Thank you.
yeah, awesome. If you were talking to anybody that is curious about joining the Gallup Accelerator or they're on the fence, what would you say to them?
Yeah, one of the things that I liked from Gap Accelerator, which I was not necessarily looking for when I joined, is getting a high overview of all the different pieces of your business. And this is the first time that I got this overview, and it feels very good. It feels very good to shed light on those pieces that I was not shedding light on, that I was ignoring. For me, for instance, my numbers, I was ignoring them. I think this is the first time I've done my numbers. So it it feels good. It feels good to know, to have this level of awareness. And I
Yeah.
think that's very valuable. So for me, someone who is on the fence about Gap Accelerator, I would say go with it, because the level of support you're going to get, I doubt you have gotten this level of support somewhere else if it's not one-on-one.
Yeah.
And, I got unexpected benefits from the program, So who knows what can happen? I mean, it is such an intensive but not overwhelming. This is how I experienced it. It's intensive but not overwhelming. And then there are so many touch points. We are meeting you every day,
Yeah.
almost every day. Yes. So there are so many opportunities, for having conversations with you, where something will come up and you very genuinely provide your help, and you're very honest, and that is really, really helpful. So I would tell these people really to, yeah, think about joining, because I think they can also get some unexpected results, unexpected things showing up, but also what they are looking for, they are also probably going to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to close with this because I think it's so powerful what you said. You've been in a lot of other programs and you never looked at your numbers. And I get it, because that was me like 20 years ago in my first business. But I'll also say this because it's on recording. Guys, how are you going to hit consistent revenue goals and hit certain numbers if you're actually unwilling to lay out a financial plan and unwilling to look at the numbers? It's hard to create the numbers if you're putting all of your energy and attention and focus in all these other areas of business, but not actually looking at the numbers. There's people in this round of the cohort who literally were like, I need to make this much money to get the ROI on the program, and they've already made it because they were so clear. Because when we were doing the numbers, they got so clear on, okay, this is my new prices, these are my new offers, and I need to sell 2 of these to have gotten an ROI on your program. And they already did it. They already sold it within the 5 weeks. I had another person who's like, I want to push myself. I want 10 people in my next, because she said, I want 10 people in my next group program. She literally got 10. But if you're unwilling to look at the numbers and create a plan and hold yourself to the numbers, it's very hard to grow a business like that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And may I say one more thing,
Yes.
actually,
Yes.
that in in other programs, I have done a sales projection, right? But for 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 the next year, and but this was an exercise of, okay, I don't know very well what I'm doing. You know, yes, I want to do all these things in January, February, March. I don't know how that is going to become a reality. But that was it. That was how I went before in
Mm.
other programs. Or that is my experience. Now I remember one of the people in the group in the Gap Accelerator. He was presenting his sales projection, and you said, well, pay attention, because whatever you project, it has to be realistic. How are you going to make this a reality? Because in June, you're gonna be doing this, in July, in August, September, and then the year has passed. So don't set yourself up for failure. And I was like, whoa, okay. I mean, I had this big realization, okay, yes, it makes sense. And this was one of the pieces that I missed, in this other program that I'm speaking about.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that you brought this reality check. Is this realistic or not?
Yeah. Yeah, the sales projections has to be actionable, and your marketing plan isn't just some loose marketing plan way over here that you just make content for fun. It has to be based in the numbers and your sales projections. And yeah, I think we forget that. It's not just some sheet that we're filling in and putting in numbers, and then we have a multi six-figure number on the sheet to make us feel good. It's, do I have the business and do I know what to do step by step to get that number? So yeah, thank you for that distinction. You're right. We do talk a lot about that. So awesome. Thank you so much. I'm very excited for you and where you are. Even just your energy and how you present is so different than the person I talked to before we started. So I'm so excited for you and to see where you go and to see what you create. And thank you for taking the time to have this chat with me.
Thank you. Thanks to you, Sally.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Messaging is one of the aspects that I've received most coaching on and that I've had most focus on during the last 1.5 years. And it's not that I don't trust the people that I've worked with. I consider them to be very good. But the kind of switch that you've made me have about my messaging, and for you, I felt it was just so easy and so natural. I was amazed. And then you say about yourself that you're not a messaging expert. I'm like, what? I think you should start calling yourself. I mean, I think you should start owning that
Okay.
space a little bit more. You
I
should.
think that's so funny. I think that it's not, I do end up actually helping a lot of people with their messaging, even my colleagues and friends who are in a mastermind together. But the thing is, I'm not a messaging expert from the copy and content point of view. I'm really good at messaging because I'm thinking about your whole business. And so I'm thinking about your audience. I'm thinking about your pricing. I'm thinking about your offer. I'm thinking about your product market fit. I'm thinking about your overall goal and your vision. And I think sometimes people get into messaging or maybe are like thinking about it in a formulaic way and what's the formula. But I think that you have to think about the breadth of the business and what is it that you ultimately do for who, at what price point, how are you going to talk to those people? So I think that's why it seems easy to me, because I'm thinking about everything that you're trying to do.
You
But yeah,
definitely think about all that in a very quick way.
I do. I know my brain's like, my brain's like always like, it's like I'm a math professor at a board. Like calculating everything, even though I hated math my whole life. So not really. But yeah, well, thank you for that. I'll start owning it more. Yes, I can help you with your messaging too.
If everything I already listed is not enough, I can also help you with your messaging.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God. And now we know why I work so much.